What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Texans franchise. We are in our fourth offseason or fifth offseason, and we are coming off of a close but unfortunate ending to a Super Bowl championship, losing to the Panthers 27-24. It was a crazy game, and obviously we did not do enough to win it, and we find ourselves back at the drawing board. It was the first time, though, we ever made it to the Super Bowl, and the first time in Texans history that they ever advanced to the Super Bowl, so that was awesome to see. Orlando Blackwood ended up winning Coach of the Year, and we got a chance to see quite a bit of awesome things out of our team last year. Now it is time to try and build off of what we started. Can we get over to that next step? We were 3 points away from a Super Bowl victory, so we do not want to try and shake up too much on this team. If anything, we just want to add to it. And when I look at this team, there is quite a few spots that are pretty much set in place. Like, we really don't have a lot of holes, a lot of areas that need some serious work, at least on the offense. On the defense, I feel like it may be time to try and bring in somebody on this defensive line here. Now, we are in a 3-4. We are probably going to stay in a 3-4, but we do have the opportunity to maybe try and add somebody on the outside here, where Otis Watts is currently listed as a starter. I know I spoke about having him start a little bit for us this year, him or maybe even Pat Smith or somebody else, but with how close we were to the Super Bowl victory, I feel like I would be doing the opposite by having a young guy start if we can find somebody to replace him. Who knows? Maybe we can find somebody in free agency. If not, Watts will end up being the guy. I also decided that I think we're going to keep Nate Hobbs where he's at. I mentioned maybe getting rid of him to try and let Landry and Bridges step up. But right now, it's just too critical to not have a guy as good as Hobbs in our backfield. But there is a lot of free agents available in this offseason cycle. There was a lot of changes made in I actually spent 2 days going through all the teams, trying to piece them all back together, signing everybody back that I should. And Max Crosby refused to sign with the Raiders. I overpaid this guy so much, and he still would not sign. Same with Jair Alexander. Juju Smith-Schuster is available. Frank Ragnow, Chris Jones, Tre'Davious White, of course, we let him go into free agency. Ed Oliver of the Bills, Xavier McKinney, Marcus Williams, Marshawn Lattimore. There's so many big name players. Oh, also, before I forget, somebody made a comment on one of the videos when I was talking about how I don't think it would be right to keep Collins. And if I was to do that I should boost him. I boosted him, all right. I went ahead and I brought his awareness up. I brought his catching and his route running up. He is now going to be an 87 overall. I'm not going to re-sign him. But he's had 2 back-to-back great seasons. I bumped him up to superstar. I would love to see Nico Collins get the chance that he deserves somewhere else. So we are going to let him sit in free agency, and somebody's going to get an excellent receiver to close out their season. I gave him, he went up about 5 overall after it was all said and done. And of course, he went from normal to superstar because he deserved it. He really did. So I'm excited to see where he ends up going. But there's even names like Stephen Glover available in the free agency. That was the backup running back for the Bengals that we saw last year. A lot of names are out here. Now, do I plan on taking any of these guys? I don't know yet. You know, it's still new. I'm just seeing this for myself now. I had somewhat of an idea who was going to be available because obviously I was signing these guys for the teams, and I did my best to balance guys who would be leaving a team, guys who would be looking for a chance to start, teams that were moving on from older talent. And then, of course, the money aspect, too. And this is sort of where I left off. So there's a lot of big names available. A lot of them older, though. A lot of them older. There's a couple of nice running backs available for people. So overall, a pretty good free agent class. Next season should look a lot different. And even if we have an issue with the free agents getting signed properly, because I know that's one of the only issues with how I run this franchise, I'll go through them after the free agency and I'll match them up with teams that should have those free agents on them, and they should have went after them. So make sure that we don't have too many guys just wasting away in free agency. Now, with that being said, it's time for us to review some of these free agents for us and see who we might want to bring on. And I'm just going to go straight to the defensive side of the ball because I think our offense is fine just where it is. I don't think we need to bring anybody in via free agency, at least not in this beginning stage. I want to see what we have available for us at defensive end positions. We did let Eric Armstead go since he fell down to a 77 overall. See, not seeing too many good names over on this side. Let's see. Tackle. D-tackle's another one where I like the pieces we have. I think Redmond is a great D-tackle, but I sometimes am concerned if he's going to be able to stay healthy or not. But given the fact that we really aren't going to be playing a 4-3 anytime soon, there's no point in us really addressing this unless we can find somebody that could slide out to be a defensive end, sort of like Ed Oliver. 6'1", 287. He's only 29 years old. That's not a bad age. Okay, so he's a run stopper, true and true though. Don't think he'd really fit our system all too well. Forrest Buckner is now available. And over here we have a couple of nice names. Montez Sweat, which of course is more of a 4-3 front, so he's definitely not going to be. But there is Deshaun Brown. Now, what kind of player is Deshaun Brown? This is a big. He's an 85 overall power rusher. Deshaun Brown was a guy who I tried to re-sign with the Seahawks, but he once again wanted too much money. I could not bring him back to the Seahawks, and he fell into free agency. I'm trying to see if this would be somebody that would fit our system. He's got great power moves and awesome acceleration. Block shedding is good. Play rec is good. Awareness is good. Really good. He's got a lot of things going from his impact blocking is 93. Now, if I went after this kind of guy, though, that would probably mean that somebody like Otis Watts or one of the other young guys on the line was a wasted pick because he's only 26 years old. Oh man, that's tough. But that would make our D-line so good. That would absolutely just. I'm just curious where the price is at right now on him. Neutral offer, player friendly for 4 years. 94 million. Oh yeah, that's right. Now I remember why the Seahawks couldn't re-sign him. And the Bucks are going strong at him. Super strong. Man, I feel like it would be stupid of me not to. Because there's really not much else here outside of just sticking with what we already have in Otis Watts. But I mean, this would be an immediate upgrade. This would change a lot of things for us on the defensive line. Oh man, I almost have to. We're gonna go for player friendly again, but we're gonna up it. I can't believe this guy wants so much money. This is insane. We'll make it an even 100 million contract. 25 million a year for Deshaun Brown to be our defensive end. He's a little bit undersized for a D end in a 3-4, but he's got the abilities that we need to make it work. He's only 3 years older than Otis Watts. So we're the top team, but we're tied with the Buccaneers, so there's no guarantee that we're going to land this guy. Man, that would be an amazing find if we could get him. Max Crosby would be another fun person to bring on board, but I know that there's been some issues with McManus. You know, somebody made a comment about maybe it's time to move on from him. And if that is the case, I feel like Pat Smith might be a good option for us to build up. I would like to see what McManus brings us still for this season. I think this will be probably the last year that we allow McManus to see if he's going to continue to be this injury-prone self. We just re-signed him, so I don't want to go through the headache of having to take all of that money hit. So we do have Pat Smith, who we saw a little bit last year. He played pretty well. I think we should try and work with him and build him up a little bit. So I'm not going to bring on a big edge rusher like that at this time. We're good at middle linebacker. We're good at this side. As much as I would like to bring in a corner, we have so many of them already. There's just no point in even trying to. There's quite a few good names out here though too. Not even the older guys. Kelvin Joseph's up to a 78. He's out here. Tevin Trent's a 25-year-old. So not a bad year for corners. But we just really don't have much of a need for this stuff. Oh, some good safeties. But we're set with safeties. You know, like we're just sort of set with everything. You know, this will probably be another boring offseason, but I'm happy for that because we have a good team. I'm going to try to bring in this George Ross guy at right tackle just as a reserve guy behind Gary Samuel and Kasim Branch. That's really it. That's really the only two that I can see spending the money on is a backup right tackle and Deshaun Brown. I mean, there's so many other players out there, but Deshaun Brown would be a home run hit. That would make the whole offseason, because this defense would really change. Like, it was something else when we brought on Eric Armstead, but bringing on Deshaun Brown, 85 overall, 26 years old, he fits the mold that we're looking for our defensive ends. This is too perfect not to do it. So this is really going to be the only two guys that we go after. I just don't see much point for anything else. So let's go ahead and let's just do the eval and see if we get them. So they both made a decision. Did they sign with us? We got them. We get Deshaun Brown. We got George Ross. I mean, that's great for Dross, but we get Deshaun Brown. That is a home run hit right there. I'm gonna have to change his number because I don't think it would be respectable. Give away 99. JJ Watt. That number should probably be retired. But anyway, Deshaun Brown coming to Houston. Looking at this defense now with Deshaun Brown on it, this to me looks like a ferocious defense. I cannot wait to see. And oh, no way. Oh snap, guys. I forgot all about that, guys. Jameel Betts, he didn't get enough playing time to unlock his stuff. Neither did Pat Smith. So Pat Smith was star. Fletcher was star. And Betts is a X Factor. Holy shit. Okay. So Betts ends up being an X Factor. That is huge. That makes me almost want to move on from Greenlaw at this point. But Greenlaw played so good last year. I can't even... there's no way I can be okay with that. You know what I mean? Like, I can't trade away Greenlaw with how well he played for us last year. But we have a lot of talent now. Superstar for Chambers, McManus, and Franklin Myers. We have star on most of the rest of the defense. The only person without one is Frank Bonner. And, you know, this almost comes to the question of the whole situation with Petrie. Is Bonner somebody that's going to be able to step up for us? For the long haul, I mean. Is he going to be able to step up? Everybody else is starting to step up. Bridges was star as well. That makes sense. Corey White is superstar? Corey White is the free agent that I signed in the offseason, or in preseason, the undrafted free agent, and he ends up having superstar. Wow. Okay. I mean, chances are he's probably never going to keep that. You know, by the end of the season, he's not going to play enough, so by the end of the season he'll probably end up losing it. But that's crazy. I sort of like how they do that, where there's players that are in free agency after the draft that have hidden devs like that can actually make an entire player different that wasn't drafted. So that's interesting. But I think right now our team is set to go for the draft. Like, I really do. Like, I understand the last, you know, hasn't been much for free agency, but we have so much talent. There's just not much point to really trying anything different. You know what I mean? Holy shit. Max Crosby ends up going to the Vikings. Jair Alexander went to the Colts. Juju Smith-Schuster to the Commanders. Frank Ragnow goes to the Raiders. Chris Jones to the Broncos. Tre'Davious White to the Eagles. Ed Oliver to the Packers. That's interesting to see. Joe Thuney to the Buccaneers. Marcus Williams so the Broncos brought in Marcus Williams and Chris Jones. Some key defenders there. Lattimore goes to the Dolphins. Marquise Brown to the Rams. Jedrick Wills to the Bears. Barrett Tucker to the Cardinals. And Sanborn went to the Vikings. The Vikings getting into some stuff right now. Okay. Taj Boyd. Oh, a young safety. He goes to the Colts. Treylon Burks to the... Okay. I'm just going through these so you guys can see the Niners with a pair of corners here. Hughes and Murphy Bunting. Oh, Benford. I didn't even know he was there, but all right. Wow, a lot of corners. There was a lot of corners available. Eric Armstead goes to the Packers. Kevin Gales to the Ravens. So a lot of corners going here. Almost all corners. Strange. Well, I shouldn't say all corners, but a good chunk of them is all corners. And we have now Jair Alexander to worry about in Indianapolis. That is pretty scary right there. All right, so I got us to offseason stage 2 or free agency 2. And I just want to go back here and let's see if anybody else has landed with new teams. I think it's still pretty much the same. Yeah. Yeah, looks like it's pretty much the same, folks. No way. Hold on here. What did I just see? I just got played, guys. I just got played. Oh. I mean, you guys already see what I'm seeing. So this dude, let me get this straight. And I can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but I'm gonna go back and look. You said I should up Nico Collins, that he's got a chance to be something special when he leaves because he's earned it. And you are 100% correct. But look at what this man went and did. He just signed with the literal enemy in the Indianapolis Colts. So you mean to tell me that I went and souped up Nico Collins, gave him superstar dev, and now I have to try to guard him twice a year? These stories write themselves. There's no way that I would have allowed that. That's crazy. So Nico Collins ends up going to the Colts. Steven Glover, he goes to the Titans. We have a whole bunch of dudes coming to this division. He was the backup running back to the Bengals. He was a really good running back too. He got stuck behind Joe Mixon, and after his rookie contract was up, he's like, hell no, I'm out of here. I want to start somewhere. And now he will get a chance to start because I didn't even tell you guys this. Derrick Henry hung it up. Well, no, you guys saw that, right? You guys saw that in the last video. I showed the retirements. So now Steven Glover coming to Tennessee. He is going to be the number 1. That is interesting. Wow. Okay. This is going to be very, very interesting year. That's really it for free agency, though, guys. Like, we'll check back at the end of free agency to just see where everybody else went. But I think it's time to just focus on the draft now. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and we got mock draft 4 out. Let's see what they have us going with here. So obviously we're not picking until much later. And there are some teams that are going to get an awesome player that shouldn't, like the Bills or even the Titans or the Ravens. The Falcons are up here and they have them going with a receiver, number 1 overall, Robert Martin. We have him 75% completed. He looks like he's got sort of iffy stats though. D catching traffic, A catching, C's for deep route running and release. And then there's Doug Fleming here going to the Bills as a pass rusher. Brandon Bassey to the Titans. Honestly, I can't even be too upset about that or think that's unrealistic because the quarterback for the Titans really hasn't stepped up to the plate. You know what I mean? He hasn't really taken over. He's still a 78 overall. I think he's still normal dev. So I really couldn't fault the Titans for wanting to try and find a different quarterback if there's a better one available to be had down the line. Now, will that end up playing out? I don't know, but we'll see. James Anderson, they say, is going to go to the Ravens. I'm just trying to sort of find, and then, the Seahawks going with DeMar Middleton. That makes sense considering that Deshaun Brown, our new defensive end, refused to re-sign with them. They need a speed rusher too, so maybe it was more of a Brown just didn't fit thing because they're definitely not a power rush style team. And then it has the Colts going after another corner, Byron Rodgers. I'm just trying to see who is going to be. Oh, there's Josh Bibbs. That's the guy I wanted us to get. I know we have a lot of corners, but he's 6'4", guys. He's 6'4". You know, that's a little different. They have, okay, and then a few left tackles going. And then we're all the way down here. I mean, we're definitely picking from the very bottom of the list. Darius Walker going. They have us taking Tom Black, a right tackle, which honestly isn't too bad of a pick. He's got good awareness, good impact blocking, good pass, or B's for pass block and run block. So that's not bad at all. Let's see what his player card is like. So Tom Black, he's 21. Got 2 A's, so that's good to see. Pretty good in the college pro day and the combine. He's got elite acceleration, agility, and jumping. Great strength. And then for his skills, he's got a lot of A's. Run block power is a little low. So is pass block power, so he's more of a finesse guy, which makes sense. Yeah, that might not be a bad... His injury is D to F. Well, I don't know what that even means anymore, to be honest with you guys. So, yeah, that's where we're sitting right now for the draft. The only question is there anybody way up here that I would like to try and come up for? And even if I wanted to, do we have the pieces that I'm willing to give up to do so? That's the other problem. So we might just be sitting back and just watching what comes to us and just making a selection from there because honestly, I would be completely okay with going to start in the season right now with the team we have. You know, I don't need anybody right now. We just need to run it back and see if we can get a Super Bowl out of this team before we change things up. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sim until we can choose our focus players for the draft, and then we're going to do that portion, and we're just going to get straight to the draft. I mean, this should be a pretty quick offseason, honestly. Oh, how much more Betty's going to say? Yeah, okay. Yeah, look at this. Look at this, guys. Madden still doesn't know how to fix this. Dylan Gilbert's 5th-year option has come up. We couldn't find a way to get him on the field. Madden, you gotta fix this. Come on now. He's our starting quarterback that led us to the frickin' Super Bowl. I think we want to pick up his 5th-year option. Oh yeah, Jordan Walker. Definitely want to pick him up. Oh yeah, he barely ever got onto the field either. I can't remember if I unlocked anybody the last time we did this. I really cannot. Or even remember who I did it for. You guys remember that at all? Oh yeah, I must have. Oh, right here. Okay, so we had Reggie Black and Clyde Wall, both of which ended up being below. Oh, that's tough. So they ended up both being below what their projection is. Rounds 2 to 3 talent instead of 1 to 2 talents. That is tough. And did I do it to any... I must have done it to somebody else, right? Did I do it to... Oh, right here. George Money. Okay, George Money. Look at that. They say he's a solid round 1 talent. Projected rounds 1 to 2. That might be the move for us. I said I wanted to draft this guy based off his name alone, and now his talent is almost backing that up. So now we have a couple of right tackles to look at. You know, they said we should possibly take one in the 1st round. I can't really disagree with that. And now we have the guy that we could definitely get there. I don't see how we couldn't select him. He's the 44th prospect. The only question is there anybody else that we really want to try and get? So maybe we should do... Where is he? Where's the corner I was looking at? Josh Bibbs. I have to see if he's worth it. He's 6'4", guys. Like, let's look at this guy here. He's 6'4", he's 21. It says he look at even Madden thinks we should draft him. I can't argue with Madden. He's 1st in corners in 40. 2nd in 20-yard shuttle. 1st in 20-yard shuttle since the pro day. 4th in 3-cone. I have to figure out if this guy's worth it. Okay. He is definitely be one of them. He's gotta be. There's no way I can't. I almost feel like we should just do it on all these guys, because if there's any position that we should try to get, it's gonna be a lineman. Because we don't know what Samuel's gonna be. Branch is in line to... He's already a starter. We need tackles for sure. I don't know if Samuel's gonna be the guy or not. But there's not much else that we need outside of a lineman or a corner. Or we could try to look at safety, but I don't think there's any safeties that are this high up on the list that would be going ahead of us. So let's see. Go down here. We got Bibbs. And then Vernon Truman is here. And you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, with Josh Bibbs being 6'4", 210, what's stopping him from playing safety? I mean, he's got a safety build right there. That's intriguing. That really is intriguing. I mean, obviously, if Bibbs ends up being worth it, we'd have to trade up to get him. But, you know, it's it might be worth a shot. It might just be. Antoine Brooks is here. All right, I think we are going to do Antoine Brooks as one of the other ones. So Brooks, Bibbs, and then I think I am going to do one of the other linemen. One of the left tackles to see Where is he? I'm trying to make up my mind between Tom Black and Ian Holcomb. Yeah, let's do Tom Black. Those will be the three that we do. And now let's take a look at the free agency recap and see who has all went where through. So there was a decent young quarterback, Andrew Steffa. We've seen him float around a team or two before. He ends up going to the Panthers. Alex Kinney, 6'6", 237 star dev. He goes to the Cardinals. Interesting to see that. Everybody else sort of meh. And then, of course, we know Stephen Glover went to the Titans. James Cook going to the Panthers. Joe Bolden to the Bears. Damian Harris to the Commanders. And Rachaad White to the Chargers. That's an interesting one because Austin Eckler is now down to like a 74 overall, and Isaiah Spiller is the guy at 78 overall. So him and Rachaad White could potentially end up going at it for rights to the #1 role. At receiver, Juju Smith-Schuster going to the Commanders. Tyreek Hill to the Rams. Of course, we know Nico Collins to the Colts. Marquise Brown to the Rams. Oh, so they have two. Oh, wow. The Rams just got really good at receiver. Tyreek Hill and Marquise Brown. Donovan Peoples-Jones going to the Bills. That's actually a pretty good fit. Mooney going back to the Bears. Terrace Marshall Jr. to the Browns. Gallup to the Lions. Boyd to the Giants. See, is there any other younger guys? No, a lot of just older guys. Tight ends, Dawson Knox also went to the Rams. So now the Rams have sort of surrounded, oh crap, what's the quarterback's name? Right on the tip of my tongue. But they have surrounded him with talent. Plus, they have a young running back who's like a 90 overall that has really turned into something good there. So the Rams looking to make a possible push. I like to see that. We know Chris Jones went to the Broncos, Ed Oliver to the Packers, Buckner to the Saints, Hart to the Titans. Broussard went to the Cardinals along with BJ Hill. Montez Sweat went to the Chiefs. Grady Jarrett to the Saints. Zach Allen went to the Colts. That's another guy we'll have to take on. We know Crosby went to the Vikings. Kenneth Murray to the Titans. That's a good pickup for them. Bobby Okereke, he went to the Buccaneers. Anthony Walker to the Cowboys. Michael Walker to the Colts. Harold Landry also going to the Vikings. The Vikings just redoing their entire defensive front, it looks like. Matt Milano to the Panthers. Then we know there was a lot of corners that went this year. And here is a list of all of the corners that were signed by some teams. A lot of guys getting signed. Wow. Then the Rams also getting Xavier McKinney. Wow. There is some serious work being done in LA right now. Now it's time to see what we ended up unlocking. So let's go and check out the left tackle. Oh no, it was a right tackle I did, right? Yep. And Tom Black is not a second to third guy, but he is round 1 to 2. So he would sort of fit in that mold there at pick 31 for us. So he is a little bit better than one of these guys, but he's not better than George Money. So George Money should be our target if we want to go right tackle in the first round, because I highly doubt either of these guys make it to our second pick. And then Josh Bibbs says he's round 1 to 2, and that is exactly what he is. He's round 1 to 2. So he is right in line with what he should be. And we ended up getting Antoine Brooks to 95% completed. So not a full 100, but we do know a little bit about him. He didn't have the best pro day, but he is more of a hard hitter than anything else. So that sort of makes sense. He's got good hit power. Injury's not very good. Tackling is good. So overall, probably not somebody we're going to want to target in the draft right now. So there isn't much to go off of. Let's see, has anybody else really tripped the trigger here at strong safety? And really, no. It's just doesn't seem to be too many guys that are really that just stand out to me in this draft. So we'll just sort of go into it and we'll see who we end up landing, and we'll just go from there. Looking over this board, I'm not really too sold on any one prospect. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to hold tight at our position and just see who falls to us, right? Because we know 90% chance that George Money falls to us. We know he's a round 1 talent, and I'm okay with taking him in round 1. I know we've taken tackles a lot, but I have a feeling that one of these guys might be able to slide in and even play guard for us if need. So who knows what's going to happen, but you can never have too many tackles. And I'm still not sold on Samuel because he just has such an uneven skill amount, right? Like I think it's his passing or something is way down. So I don't know what he's going to be yet, but we're just going to let the draft come to us. I'm not too big into the draft this year. There just doesn't seem to be any huge prospects that we need or positions that we really need. So we're just going to sort of go with the flow. And Josh Bibbs did it. I'm going to the Chargers with the 13th pick. I mean, it would have been a nice chance to get a guy who's 6'4", but you know, he wasn't somebody that was that high on the board. And after revealing that he wasn't even a solid round 1 guy, I didn't think it made sense to trade all the way up for him. So he ends up going to the Chargers, and we'll continue on. So Tom Black ends up going 2 picks before us. 2 picks before us to the Buccaneers. And Ben Wilkinson goes to the Bengals, and that puts us on the clock. And this is who we're working with. Now, we know that Black and Wall are rounds 2 to 3, so I'm not interested in going after them. We definitely don't need a running back. Definitely don't need a safety at this point. I think that the best bet for us right now is to go ahead and take George Money. He's right here. There's no way he's making it to our next pick. And we know he's a round 1 talent. We were able to figure that out. So I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to take George Money. All right, there we go. Hidden Dev, 80 Excel, 77 speed. He's got 90 strength. That is perfect. That is exactly what we wanted. And like I said before, worst case scenario, I might be able to slide Gary Samuel in at guard because of the fact that he's not a strong pass blocker. And that would open the door for somebody like George Money to be our right tackle. We don't know what his overall is yet. He could be a 70 overall for all I know, but he is hidden dev, so he will get a shot at playing at some point. All right, so we are here at the end of the 2nd round. We do have another pick coming up in just 10 selections, so that is nice. No, 12 selections, sorry. So let's see who is on the board for us now at the end of round 2. The only thing we know about Hitchcock is he's got B awareness, tackle, and zone coverage, which is good. But everything else, well, man coverage is C, but everything else is not unlocked yet. His hit power is going to be no worse than a C, so that is also good to know. But there's just not a lot unlocked for him to really, I just don't know if it makes sense to take him here. Plus, he only has decent speed, so I am not too big of a fan of that. Looking at the D tackles, Warren Ross was a guy that I was curious about, him and Morgan Irving, because of their speed rush tendencies. I was thinking they might be pretty decent at sort of a in between, like a 3 technique and a defensive end in our system. And he's got some pretty good physicals, and his skills: B awareness, B play rec, A finesse, B hit power, B tackle. His block shedding is a little bit lower than I would like at a C, and his power moves as well. But he could be a really good pass rusher for us. But we do have guys, you know, so it's hard to warrant taking somebody at this position. Somebody's going to have to not make the team, you know what I mean? So Britton Ware is a guy that I think could be a really good find for us. He's 2nd in 40, 3rd in verts, 8th in 3-cone, and 4th in 20-yard shuttle. And his skills: B finesse, we know, as well as block shedding, we don't know that, but his awareness, play rec is C, his tackle is B. He is one of the last edge rushers left at left end for this round range. The rest of them are pretty much gone. There really isn't even that many guys available up here, which is weird to see. Thinking about it a little bit more, I think that it might be a good opportunity for us to try and bring in a safety, just to see if, you know, maybe we find something in Hitchcock and he ends up taking over for Frank Bonner, who just hasn't really developed into what we were hoping for. He's never really gotten anything above a normal, and it's been a tough road for him to improve. And I just think that right now it might be a good time for us to take another safety to see what we find. We hit it out of the park with Chambers last year. Now, can we come back double dip and get yet another one here for Devontae Hitchcock, who's just 21, 6 foot, 210. Says he's the zone, but being 210 sort of fits the bill as well for a strong safety. So it says he delivers bone crushing hits, so that's good to see. Let's go ahead and let's take Devontae Hitchcock here. All right, so Hitchcock is a hidden dev. Oh man, his speed though is 86. Oh man. I mean, I guess if he's a strong safety, you don't have to be the fastest. He is hidden dev, so that might end up working out in our favor, but all right, so it's a little bit of a mixed thing, but this is the end of the second round. You got to sort of expect that. And then we are back on the board here in the beginning of the third. We have a couple of third round picks. I'm not sure if I want to keep them or if we want to trade them away. I'm just looking here at the board to see who is all available. I think I do want to try and take a flyer though on Warren Ross. He's sitting here rounds 3 to 4. This would be a decent spot, I think, for us to take a flyer on him and see what we get. Let's just look at the D tackles one last time. We have him and Morgan Irving. Now Irving has 2 C's and 2 A's, which is better than a C, an A, a D, and a B. So let's see what Irving has got. He's 21. That's good. Oh, we got to take Irving. Look at this. Firsts all over the place. Yeah, we definitely got to take Morgan Irving. Now, with his size, he would be perfect to play outside, 6'2", 294, I think, in a 3-4. Yeah, we're definitely going to take him here. All right, hidden dev for Morgan Irving. 88 strength, 85 excel, 81 speed, which means he should be able to play outside without losing too much for the quickness department. And that puts us on the board again here about, well, 6 picks later at round 3, pick 17. And I'm really still not sure on who we should take here. We just haven't really had a big roster turnover yet, which I'm happy for because that would indicate that we sucked. You know, I am looking through everybody and I am just not finding really anybody that I really want to take. I know I mentioned this in past videos, but this draft seems to be really lackluster for ones that we've had before. So what I'm thinking of doing is actually trading out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trade this third round pick away to the Bengals. I just realized that I don't really need anybody else right now in this draft. And the draft itself is just really all season long has been very underwhelming. A lot of even the letter grades seem to be very low. Like there's nobody left that I've been looking at that has even C's on the regular. There's so many D's that I don't even want to take them. So I'm going to trade this third round pick for a third round pick next year and a 5th round pick next year with the Bengals. And I think that'll be a good decision because, well, like I said, we don't need a whole lot right now. And I also think this is a bad draft right now. I just don't think it's a very solid draft class. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to trade out. I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take Demarius Clark here. He's a left guard. And he's got a few A's, and this has been very hard to find for me in this draft class. So I see some A's. I'm just going to take them and see if we get lucky. So Demarius Clark, and look at that. Hidden dev, left guard, 85 strength, not the best speed in Excel, but he's a guard for a reason. All right, so I simmed to the end of the draft, and we did good with the picks I cared about, I guess, but the rest of them, yikes. I just simmed after Clark's pick because I just really didn't know who else to take. I was sort of over it. We didn't need a lot of stuff this year. We really could have gone even without a draft, but I didn't want to do that and just load up on next year because that's just not fair either to the other teams. So we just did the one trade down, and this is who we ended up with. So George Money ends up being a 75 overall. It's a pretty good find for the end of the first round, I would say. And then Devontae Hitchcock, 73 overall. So he is a little bit on the slow side, but he is going to come in and be able to compete. And then Morgan Irving, also a 73 overall. And then once we got there, it was just not good at all. They ended up drafting us 2 tight ends. Oh gosh. Yeah. So chances are they probably won't. Well, maybe Clark makes it just because of the fact that he's got hidden dev. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that is the draft. Let's see what everybody else did. So Robert Martin was a 79 overall at wide receiver, the first overall pick. Was he the best player? He was best player. Wow. And then Vernon Truman ends up going, oh, I'm not in order here. All right, so now there we go. So it was Martin, Doug Fleming to the Bills, Brandon Bassey ends up going to the Titans, a 72 overall, so he's definitely not going to be better than the current quarterback. James Anderson, 76. Just looking around to try and see who ended up having some great pulls. Where's Bibbs? I want to see what Bibbs was. Bibbs was a 74. And he was hidden dev. So Josh Bibbs is 74 overall, 6'4", 210. He had 95 speed. I mean, he can't cover to save his life in the zone, but wow, that's fast. That's something cool to work with there. So yeah, not very good at his job, but he's a crazy looking specimen, right? Trying to find some of the guys that I had my eye on for a bit. Anton Johnson was one. He's a 75. Jaden Ogburn, 75. Aries McIntosh, Eric Timms, Mike Hancock. Tom Black, there he goes. He was a 74. So we end up getting the better guy in George Money. That is good. Byron Walters, a 74. Ian Holcomb. Darius Donald is another good corner there. I was considering taking him, but the only reason I really wanted to take a corner was because Bibbs was 6'4", you know. Yeah, looks like everything else. Let's see who won the draft in the later rounds. Let's see who found the steal. Let's go to rounds 4. Oh wow, Trey Moreland, look at that. He was like a day 3 guy. I liked his build, but I figured with him being day 3, I didn't want to reach that bad, but oh my God. He's a little bit slower too, 87 speed, but he comes out with some really good stats. He's already better than Hitchcock. Wow, that sucks. And of course, it had to be the Colts, right? It just had to be the Colts that got him. Then Titus McLeod, Christian Kirkpatrick, so there was better DTs available. Round 4, Carlos Streeter was the best. Dexter Schmitz. I'm just trying to see if there's anybody who found absolute steals. No, okay. So, like I said, not too crazy of a draft. We'll get to know these guys a little bit more in the next video. Look who we're playing in week 1 of preseason. We're playing my favorite team, the Vikings. But yes, that is it. Again, with the way we did our season, making it to the Super Bowl, there's just not that much stuff we really need to do to fix up this team. So it's just adding a few key pieces and getting to the next season to see if we can sort of capitalize on this team we have. So of course, that's what we did. We did a few key pickups like Deshaun Brown. We get a couple of decent players in the draft to build up for the future, and then we're right back at it. So if you guys were expecting some crazy changeover, I'm sorry, but we are not doing that this year. And that is all I have for this video. So next time out, we'll be running through the preseason. We'll probably do one video for all the preseason like normal. I'll probably just do the most simming, and then maybe we'll watch the Rams game or something just so that we can see a lot of the new players in their spots. Or honestly, we might not even do that because this team is pretty much intact already with what they were last year. So we might just go ahead and start week 1 right away. I don't know yet. We'll find out in the next episode, obviously. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, you subscribe if you have not already, and you turn on that bell notification so you know when I upload. And I will see you guys next time.